Hello people and welcome back to Case Mega Man's Tribute. Time for Mega Man 10. Chill Man is first. And while the stage is nothing more but shooting ice blocks, the ending can be a bit rough. I do have to say that on these enemies that detach their heads can be a bit tricky to avoid the shots, but again it's a lot about placement. Once you know where to stand, that was a good example right there of the shield attacker, you will be safe. What comes to Chill Man himself, he can be a bit problematic, since sometimes when he turns, he can just immediately fire at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Other than that, I really enjoyed Chill Man's fight. It's one of my favorites in the show. It was really a delightful robot master to fight. Apart from that one trick he does where he just shoots you right after you jump over him. The backbreaker, I called it. Shame that there's nothing you can do about it. So, shooting extra ice cubes here is not considered a miss. Or enemies in general, if you feel like you wanna kill enemies instead of going past them, that's allowed. There's no rule saying you have to shoot the least amount of shots. Have to allow some leeway to yourself in a challenge like this. And you're still going by the rules. You're not missing shots, you're fine. This is probably the trickiest screen that you can have in this level. And then this stretch here. The ice mechanics make this a little bit more difficult than it would otherwise be. But just be careful about your movement and place yourself in good spots. You'll avoid most trouble that way. And the big eye will kill itself. Patience is virtue. As we hit Chill Man's gate. So this run here is essentially just luck. Of course it's a skill as well, I'm not saying it's not. But I always like to say that it's luck when there's a factor that you can't help with your own skill. Sure, you need to be good at the fight as well to be able to do this, but if he can just end the run when he wants, yeah, that's just unfortunate. He's down though. Nitro Man stage has a really big problem, and that is at the end of the level. Of course it is. There's an enemy called Ositsu Osaretsu. It's one of those yellow shield robots that you're supposed to shoot the shield and knock them back, and then shoot them in the red bulb. But the other one is placed in such a manner, yeah, this guy, where you have to shoot him before you land on the same platform he's already on. You have to be able to mash fast to be able to do it. Other than that, it's just all about jumping over trucks, listening to the audio cues, looking at the arrows. Nothing more really to it. It's a straightforward stage otherwise. The bad news is that you have to repeat all of this every time you fail at the Oshitsu part. which is coming up here. Well, not soon, but sooner than later. So here you can see how much work this takes every time you fail it. Took me a while, if I recall. Nice, like a glove. So he will be down here. And there we go. Yep, you have to land that one shot before you land on the same platform. Otherwise you can't make that. So if you just land on the platform and then try to spam it, it's too late. You have to fire that one shot before you land. That is one of the more tricky spots in this challenge, in any stage so far. Looks easy when you do it perfectly. Looks easy when we look at it like this. But trust me, it wasn't easy. I mean, go ahead, you can go try that right now. See if you can make it. Because if you shoot the shield to knock it back, well, obviously that's a miss. So Nitro Man, as well, is about positioning. Knowing where to stand and when. The fight looks a lot more ridiculous than it actually is. Once you know where to be at all times. Not really a problem. So all of the flair he does with these saw blades, well, it looks more threatening than it is. Just have to keep your mind clean when you do this. Don't panic. Just know that it's pretty much the same every time, every pattern. Solar Mass stage is like a good Elec Mass stage. There's a bit of climbing, but a lot more fun can be had in this one. It's actually one of my favorite stages in any Mega Man game. Where Elec Mass stage failed to be memorable, I really do like Solar Mass stage. And the boss is one of the best. I like bosses where instead of just going at it and shooting willy-nilly, you get to take your time and you get to think about when to shoot. That's really important when you want to make memorable boss fights. It's something new. Mini boss here. Nothing more than waiting. And if you don't want to count how many shots it takes, might want to start doing one shot per pass. As to not shoot when they are already dead. This is more hectic than it looks. I think I lost many attempts on this. Like, some of these spots are not too obvious, where you would think they would be easier. Once you actually try it, there's a lot of spots you didn't think would be a problem. But I guess that varies per person as well. Like I've said, we all have different set of skills. That's something to keep in mind. But I like how Solar Mass fight is tactical. Really makes a challenge like this shine. Here, just take your time. Not a speedrun. It's a really fun level. This is what Elec Mass stage should have been. You might be asking with your little head, why am I comparing this to Elec Man? It's probably all of the climbing in the beginning. And you're going up the whole stage anyways. It kind of reminds me of Elec Mass stage. If Elec Mass stage was like this on Mega Man 1, would have probably blown my own head off from excitement. Few small obstacles left here. Recycling enemies a little bit at this point. So not the perfect stage. Running out of ideas at the end. One last tippy toe. And we're done. That is Solar Man. Solar Man stage. Now for the boss. So, don't wanna shoot the sun. I count that as a miss. Because nobody really knows how many shots the sun takes. The amount varies. There's a hidden... there's like a hidden measurement on it. So if you shoot it slowly... So if you slowly shoot at the sun like 3 times... It might not even count. Like it's not... The shots are not going towards a bigger sun on his head if you shoot slowly. So the shots will accumulate on the sun. But if you shoot slowly enough they will kind of vanish and start over. So I just denied myself from shooting the sun at all. I considered that as a miss. Because it's so unreliable. But shouldn't be a problem. Really a fun fight though. One of the best experiences I had with this challenge. Blade Man. I believe this was one of my live no miss attempts. And I'll get the footage, it does look like that. Suddenly a lot of ghosting on the footage. Probably wrong settings. That's alright though, I think we can manage. Not a huge fan of this level. It's got nothing to do with no miss. It's just that it's kind of boring, even to play normally. Oh, that's weird. Some precise shots like that are required, but it's nothing too bad. Mostly just, I think the mini-boss can be the problem in here. Obviously, you can swap sides, but what is that gonna do you? Not any good. I don't know why you would swap sides on this. Not really needed, so essentially you only have the little space on the left to battle the boss. And I would recommend doing 2 shots per pass on the last one. Again, to prevent counting how many shots it takes. Some tricky screens like this. But once you find the most optimal way to tackle with this, as you can see, it becomes a bit easier. You don't have to stop and shoot everything. It's much easier to figure out ways to go past enemies than to stop on your tracks and kill everything. That's one of the beautiful parts about the challenge. You get to experiment with running away as well, just like in Resident Evil. You don't always try and kill everything. You could think it in a way where you're wasting bullets if you kill everything. That should help a little bit. That tippy toe there is important, so the spider doesn't land on the spikes, but rather on the same platform you're on, or rather the same height, makes it easier to kill it. And there the enemy will come back once you advance this weird platform on the right. To the right. So keep in mind that you have to kill the same enemy twice as you jump to the left platform. Kind of a design oversight. Blade Man has a few patterns you can do. There's a fast strategy and there's a slow strategy. I'm using the slow one as I felt like it's a bit safer. You can also do this extremely fast. Still Buster only no miss. But since I like the more safe approach, especially after doing the whole stage, well, I'm just gonna choose the slow strategy. Nothing wrong with that. Still perfect. I like how this is a live run and I can see the chat. You can't probably see it on this video, but it's in the original, so if you wanna see the chat, go watch the original episodes on this channel. But I like how Felon is giving me tips. And just sometimes not so great tips, such as you shot too early. What a horrible night to have a curse, he says. I'll see if I can resist Subway. That's the character, that Felon guy. In any case, Blade Man is done, regardless of Felon's feedback. Pump Man. Not... Oh, this is another live run. These are fun. Pump Man, not my absolute favorite stage ever. Kinda hate it. I don't think it was a good job, especially for the quality of Mega Man 10. Really a low point in Mega Man 10's stage design. What you have to watch out for is the purple goo these Mets shoot out. Makes you slippery. And you also have to know the timing. To not ding your shot on the helmet. They work a bit differently than your normal Met. You have two pads, but I like taking this one. It's a bit easier. At least I think so. And I think it's a bit faster too. That shrimp luckily is in a good spot to kill it. The shrimp have been a problem in the past, as you might remember. So at least we don't have to have too much trouble with them here. Can easily miss a shot on these bubbles. But luckily, cycling through some of the patterns makes it easier. This might be a little problematic if you try to kill that Susie as it's coming towards you. So just wait for it to retreat. None of these have to be killed. And that is already the gate. Pump Man is a problem in the sense that the shield is so big. It's sometimes hard to avoid it. But you wanna stand under him when he's jumping and releasing the shield. When you're right under him at that point, he does not hit you, ever. Also, shooting the shield, not a miss. The shield does absorb the shots, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's at least helpful. But it looks easy when you do it like this. But the shield is so big that can create some problems for you. Really a methodical job here though. I think this was a very well done run. Everything just worked out. Commando Man. Speedrunner's paradise, I suppose. Yet another stage that is not my favorite. But luckily for us, for this challenge... kind of a wacky hitbox on the enemy. For the challenge, this one is really good because you can go past it fast. There's not a lot of things you have to really gamble on. So this is a stage that I can get behind for a no-miss challenge. It's kind of fun when you do it like this. You wanna do a perfect run. Commando Man stage can be fun. To a certain extent at least. Much more fun than Pump Man, even though the level might be even a little bit worse. But hey. Some levels shine when you put them in certain situations and you play them in a certain way. So Commando Man stage is an exception to the rule, where the level really becomes a lot more fun when you do your own challenges on it. Great to see, at least. Doing the stage normally is much more dull. This gives the stage new light. Fun times. So nothing really to it once you learn the sandstorm parts. There's really nothing that can stop you. That grab is a little bit of a problem because it's so close to transition. That might be the hardest part actually. And jump there, you'll always clear the big eye. Not a bad stage to do a no miss on, definitely. Might be one of the more easier ones. Commando Man himself, I believe, again, point blank range should work fine. Remember to jump when he lands, so you don't get stuck. And telegraphs are pretty short, so all you have to really do is hope that he doesn't try and point blank shoot you like 3 times in a row or something like that. It's hard to anticipate. So it's really all about your reaction, this one. Once he corners you, just out of hope that he doesn't shoot. There's not a lot of room to dodge anything at that point. So I would stay a certain distance away from him, not too far, but not too close. Not the easiest robot master you can do, definitely not, because there's no real pattern you can lock him in. Just have to do it. Can be seen as fun in a sense. Strike Man. Well, yeah, you probably know what the problem is gonna be here. Well, there's multiple problems. This is one of the harder stages on this challenge. Minor problem, these Doku lockers at the end can be a lot more difficult. The main problem, however, is the goalkeeper. Took me a while to know that you can shoot the football. That makes it a bit easier. My strategy here was to stick to the right side, as I recall. I always like to figure at least something out, even if the section I'm doing doesn't really... Like, it might not even make it easier, but as long as I'm doing at least some repetition, I have some control over it. So even if that doesn't benefit the section that much, doing the same thing over and over will improve the muscle memory. So the second goalkeeper is the most difficult part here. And then you still have those Doku lockers at the end. It's really just a pain in the ass. Other than that, it's somewhat to do with your positioning, reaction time, those ordinary things you would think that are part of the challenge anyway. Luckily the second goalkeeper is here already, so not at the very end. So here I can't really... I mean, I can do the same strategy as with the first one. And even if I get knocked down, it doesn't matter. But I do have to keep in mind that I can get hit by the lightning on the edge of the electricity. I do like this strategy because the ball can't hit me. That's why I think I used it for that sole reason. Still have to watch out for the fists and the shockwave from them. But as soon as you're safe from the ball, that's half of the fight won right there. Because the ball is the sole reason I lost so many runs on this. So I had to figure something out. This was my answer to the problem. Because if the ball can't reach a certain spot and you're there, well, half of the things you're trying to avoid are no longer a problem. Just have to be fast when you're going up with the fist, that you don't accidentally get clipped by the electricity. Really a pain though. Even if this looks like it's like a strategy you can't lose with, oh, you certainly can. And then there's this. Right after one of the hardest things in the level, it throws you this. Thanks a lot, level. Not a pretty sight. Luckily the ones that have enemies behind them are colored slightly differently. It's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. Just have to tackle the screen extremely carefully. Wait that out. We are now past the more difficult sections. Here I will reset the room because the Dokulackers will stay dead that you killed. So resetting the room will be beneficial here. If you couldn't, that would probably be the hardest screen. No lie. There they are, gone. Thank God for them staying dead even after transitions. And here it's about knowing which step to stand on. Nothing more. Close to the end. On Strike Man, you have to watch him and you have to watch his ball. So it's all about going under him, and when do you do that? That's really all that there is to it. And if you're wondering why sometimes the achievements don't trigger at the gate, like Hard Rock for example, I think I've already gotten to the boss before, but then failed to run at the boss. So I think they only triggered the first time, if I recall. So I guess on those runs that triggered the achievement and then I killed the boss, I probably still practiced the boss, like before, but I didn't do the whole stage perfectly. I'm not sure. But in any case, on Strike Man, as you can see, I prefer going under him when he's in the middle. And usually always on the second jump he makes. So 1, 2 and under. And I let him cycle once fully before I go under him. 1, 2. Just keep your eye on the ball as well. And he will be done for. First he jumps 3 times here, and then he does it again when you go under him. Actually he only jumps twice, looks like 3 times. Anyway, he's done. And lastly, we have Sheepman, the puzzle stage of the game. Few sections where you have to be kind of fast. You don't want them to shoot the little windows at you. So that's why you ought to kill them fast. They don't have any telegraph either, you don't really know where they're gonna go unless you play the stage many times. Luckily you can land on those enemies, kind of play with them. Will be beneficial to know which color the block you can stand on and what happens when you do. And kind of make it easier for yourself, knowing what to do and where. So this is a lot about repetition as well. Repeat the stage many times to know how to beat it. Of course, on a puzzle stage makes it a lot better. Problem, the mini boss. Failed so many runs on this. You can actually kill it on the first cycle, extremely tight though, and you can accidentally miss after it dies, so I wouldn't say that that's what you're supposed to do. I'd say beating it on the second cycle is better. Give yourself some leeway on the shots. less risky. Once you do beat the bulb, I would congratulate you for a run well done. And there is a trick to Sheepman himself as well, he's not random. There's things you can do. Never understood these chickens with brains. What they're supposed to be, I have no idea. Maybe you can tell me. Or is that a turban? And now, Yoku blocks for no reason. Like, isn't it enough that there's colored blocks in the level already? I guess not. That was close. Could have been done in a more clean way, I suppose. Luckily the Yoku patterns are really easy in this one. Almost plays itself. Here you are to wait. We are closing in on the level being beaten. I love how that one bolt is just there. If you're desperate enough for bolts, why not? And the final matrix jump past the cursors. That's always fun to make. So every other shot Sheepman does is low, and every other shot is high. So the first one's low, next gonna be high. So you might find yourself repeating that. That's a high shot, next gonna be low. Just to keep track, what's he's gonna do? That was close. I already forgot, I guess the next one is low. So you go close to him and jump over the shot. He doesn't always shoot, but when he does, he still respects the pattern. Low, there we go. So next is gonna be high. So when it's a high shot you don't wanna jump, and when it's a low shot you do wanna jump. It's gonna be low next. That's how it works. So you'll probably repeat that a lot of times when doing this. That's fine though, whatever makes it easier for you. I found that if I didn't repeat the pattern to myself for the whole fight, I forgot what he was gonna do next. Yep, just like I did there, I probably forgot what he was gonna do, so I just picked. But now I know he's gonna do the low one next. That's how easy it is to forget. Once you got that figured out, Sheepman will melt. Of course these bosses are different in hard mode, but this is played on normal. So on hard mode these bosses have different attacks on top of the existing attacks. Sheepman will become dust here in a moment. And that's Mega Man 10 done. Hope you enjoyed, and we will be moving to Unlimited next, the final game.